from GB Tourism, who said, they learn not to reveal much with Kata, Titan Forging, Abyssal Maw, and WoD, faction cities, multiple points to put Garrison, Shattrath Raid. Yeah, that's it. After those blunders, Blizzard's always going to play it tight, play things close to their chest.
Which is a shame, because that's just not how it's going to work out.
Yeah, that's not what works.
Yeah.
You can see why, because they got so hammered for it, and, I guess just their project planning and stuff was a little bit over ambitious and the like. But sad. I mean, if you look at Kata, it's so rough because, Abyssal Maw had to go.
Yeah.
Firelands comes out, it's decently safe. And then I'm fairly sure they had more expansive plans for the final raid and stuff of that expansion. But they had a whole bunch of time eaten up by the dungeons. And, you look at the Dragon Soul raid and it's just not great and just a mess. That said, I mean, there are cool things like the Deathwing. I don't like the back of Deathwing fight, but visually it was cool and there was a bit of innovation there that I appreciated. But it's that tricky stuff.
Yeah, it's just a shame. It's because I really thought they could have done so much, but even when you're I guess when the glass kind of shatters on production elements for a player, because obviously for us, given our job, what we'll do is we'll look at the game and go, okay, well, where are they reusing stuff? We're thinking about it from a production perspective on them. But for the average player, because this happened to me, because obviously I didn't think about World of Warcraft in the way I do now back then. But even then, I was like, Dragon Soul? Oh, this whole place reused. Oh, and there's you go into one big old god hole, and you go into another one, and they're the same. Okay, so what have you done new for this? The ending and spine? That's pretty heavy. I wasn't too concerned at the time because I also really liked the end time stuff. But I was like, oh man, that's really you've really kind of you've made the glass shatter and production issues for me, who's just a regular player. And I wasn't even too into World of Warcraft at Cataclysm time. I'd taken a substantial break after Wrath. I was like, man, this is really quick win.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure, it's tricky. So I use my phone to look at chat when we're looking at news stories, but so it's actually quite nice because it perches there on my laptop in a handy way. But yeah, so we've got from Mike, the Filthy Casual. Is Bobby gone? No. Is private arbitration still a thing? Yes. I'm not coming back.
Fair.
Yeah, fair. I can totally understand that. I think it's a sort of thing where, I mean, yeah, we've covered this one before. It's there's lots of different ways to take it and, stances and stuff. And I mean, I respect just about any principled stand. For us, I think I don't want to punish the people who are working there because of historical things. But while I'm still here, we're pressuring where we can, like in the news channel. I mean, they so much as make a small misstep and we will be on them. And We're very clear in wanting to keep following that and to keep that story alive, especially with Bungie ending forced arbitration, which is a bad look for Activision Blizzard.
I absolutely love that story because it is just, oh hey, yeah, look what we can do. Do you want to follow suit? Didn't think so. It's so cheeky. It's so cheeky. I love it. And it's not even just this cheeky because I imagine they didn't think, okay, how can we get one over on Activision Blizzard? It's cheeky by nature because obviously I think they did it because they were just yep, we will we'll do right by our developers and by our employees, which just makes Activision Blizzard look bad by comparison. Totally. Especially with all the new stuff about the EEOC being, the EEOC settlement being specifically blocked. You're like, Jesus Christ. I'd love this to come to an end, but it looks like any ending, like an ending that's good for everyone. But I feel like that end isn't going to come because it's just going to be dragged out for years, likely. So hopefully they can stick to it until it actually, pressures them enough to do what's right.
For sure. We got from Unknown Character 14 who said, hot take, if Blizzard admit their mistake and outright apologize for locking down the Covenants and Conduit system, people will be more forgiving. Yeah, and this is the one thing they continually don't get. Even the Europa Universalis studio head, he flat out said, we basically said, we have fucked it up for a long time now. I'm the studio head. Ultimately, it's my fault, and I'm sorry. We're going to try to delay things so that we can get it all back on track. Because the EU4 community was not thrilled at a lot of their recent releases. Not good ratings. And I mean, I'm not in that community, so I can't say exactly how they reacted. But if you were concerned, I mean, certainly the studio had coming out and be like, yeah, sorry, we fucked up.
Yeah.
We understand we're going to make these changes. That would give a lot of confidence that at least, okay, I don't feel like I'm being gaslit by reality. The developers have actually acknowledged what has happened. And yeah, I entirely agree with you. And it totally is what they should do, is what I would do in their position. But be it corporate PR, pride, whatever, they're seemingly not willing to do that. I mean, they consistently ship features that have in the past consistently shipped features that have went against the principles of user feedback. So, you know, there is clearly a listening to people issue there. And I suppose what that really is an issue with openness. And, you know, is that because of the likes of Pride and Station, or is that a little bit more the likes of, you know, corporate PR? So I think that's kind of what's going on for there. We've got from Duke Dookie, who said, I've been a Blizzard customer since 1995. I'm so tired of Blizzard's bullshit. I will not be buying the next expansion. They've proven they know exactly what we want and will hold it hostage until needed as a ripcord. You, like Blizzard, that is the level of betrayal. Like, the players are so invested in your stuff. You know, you do BlizzCons and all of that. You have to be aware of the other side of the equation. It's not that you are the crazy rock stars with man on heaven. It's that people like the work that you do, and it's the work that is important, not you. This is something I wish that was more understood before people go and do all this crazy rock star behavior. Or, you know, the sort of tenure and, you know, seniority is king and all of that. Like, no, it's about the quality of the work you do right fucking now. Yeah, and they've certainly managed to coast off that legacy. I mean, what other game could have the fuck-ups that they've had and get away with it?
So let's, I suppose, objectively speaking, the length of time over which these fuck-ups have occurred is probably bigger than most games or series.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know, like, I feel like it's been harsher than any other feedback I've seen that hasn't been solved immediately. Because at least with a lot of games that really suffer, they have a couple of iterations that, like, they'll get it right or better the next iteration. Like the Assassin's Creed series, as an example, has been kind of shitting the bed quite hard, or did occasionally. Like, was it Unity was the one that really people weren't happy with, I think. The one that shipped really
Unity had
early.
a lot of technical issues.
Yeah, so that one, but then it kind of recovered a year or two later. But World of Warcraft's been on the downturn for longer than I think everything else. I mean, I guess the Final Fantasy series that Nameless King brings up, it certainly had a very, very long downturn. And I think that's probably, interestingly enough, that they're probably matched in terms of, no, they'll be definitely be longer in terms of downturn, but the downturn hasn't been as pointed, because Final Fantasy 15 was a really scuffed development and was a really scuffed game at the end of the day, but it was also a huge seller.
Yeah.
That sold a lot on promise, and people had reviewed quite well, so people were just like, wasn't great, not really pleased about it. But FF13 was like, it sold fairly well, reviewed okayish despite all its problems, and then it sort of started a small recovery. But it's like the problems didn't seem quite as existential for that series. So I think that's, yeah, I don't know any series that's undergone this kind of long-term damage and survived.
Yeah, and what's it just to David there? I don't mean just all be about work. I mean, like, it's about the thing you make.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't mean that as like work yourself to dust. I mean, it's about like, it's the thing that you make that is the special thing.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the thing that people are there for, is kind of like more what I'm getting at there, rather than rather than the other way. So yeah, no, I mean, I think you're bang on, and like, we should fix up these problems. We've got from Xander Darks, who said, personally I would give WoW I'll do that again. I can't even speak today. Personally, I would give WoW about 3 to 5 years before I could trust that any positive changes they are making aren't just single expansion features. That's always going to be the worry, that we'll have a good one and then it'll go bad. I think the difference will be that we will not be riding off the high of Legion thinking, oh great, we're going to get it great again. No, we'll be, if it is good, we'll be riding off the high of 10.0, in a way, almost as a community, bracing ourselves for the inevitable talk that has generally followed every tick Blizzard has done. And I think I think the community will do a better job of holding their feet to the fire and holding them a little bit more accountable and being more just critical early when they should be. And I think it's just that whole defense of like, oh, it's beta. It's only beta. Why are you criticizing it? That is just melted away and away and away and away. Because like those people are just being proven to be stupid. Like that's not how you think about a design. Yeah. I mean, generally, if you want to go a bit more technical, beta is generally systems complete. Time for content. Yeah, sorry, is it alphas? Yeah, no, alphas are normally more like systems. Betas like more like content. Like in the more sort of technical definitions.
Yeah, alpha's functional, beta is sort of vaguely representative.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. It's like if beta is supposed to be vaguely representative, then nope, you're supposed to criticize beta. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I agree with you there. I'm going to stick around for 10.0 and we will be very specific with any feedback in and around that time because we are just very aware that it cannot go bad again.
Gonna swing a very, very big stick in their direction.
Yeah.
Basically.